we are seeing
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ఈరోజు మనతో పాటు ప్యానెల్లో శ్రీనివాసన్ గారు ఉన్నారు, అలాగే మంకీ గారు ఉన్నారు. చూస్తున్న అందరికీ జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. వాయిస్ రాకపోతే కనుక వస్తుంది, రావట్లేదు అన్న విషయం చెప్పండి. సో మంకీ, ఓవర్ టు యూ.
అందరికీ జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి.
ఇంగ్లీష్.
ఈరోజు మనతో పాటు శ్రీ కళ్యాణ్ రామన్ గారు ఉన్నారు, శ్రీనివాసన్ కళ్యాణ్ రామన్ గారు ఉన్నారు. సో ఆయన చాలా ఇండస్ వ్యాలీ సివిలైజేషన్ ఈ పర్టికులర్ టాపిక్ లో ఆయన చాలా హెవీగా రీసెర్చ్ చేశారు. లైక్ చాలా ఒక లైఫ్ టైమ్ ఆఫ్ రీసెర్చ్. సో నిజంగా లైక్ ఆయన మన ప్యానల్కి ఈరోజు రావటం నిజంగా మన అదృష్టం. సో లైక్ సార్ గురించి ఆయన ప్రొఫైల్ నుంచి స్మాల్ థింగ్స్ ఎంత చెప్పినా తక్కువే, లైక్ అబౌట్ హిస్ వర్క్. కరెంట్లీ సార్ ఈజ్ ద చైర్ ఆఫ్ తక్ష ఇండిక్ Sarasvati-Sindhu Civilization Center. TISSC. So this is a organization which emphasizes on different civilization or combination thereof. So దాంతో పాటు he is the sitting director of the Saraswati Research Center promoting the...
We are streaming in English, so please use English only.
Okay. So Kalyan sir is sitting director of the Saraswati Research Center promoting the Indian Ocean Community and National Water Grid for India and national president of the Rameshwaram Ramasethu protection movement. From 1978 to 95, he served as a senior executive at the Asian Development Bank, responsible for disbursing a loan portfolio of around $60 billion for 650 development projects in 29 Asian countries. His doctorate is in public administration from the University of the Philippines. He is very well versed in Kannada, Telugu, Hindi, Sanskrit and Tamil language. He's a polyglot. So he took voluntary retirement from the Asian Development Bank in 1995 to devote his complete attention to research on Indian civilization. He discovered Vedic river Saraswati in association with the Indian Space Research Organization and over 700 scientists, and is the author of a whopping 16 books on Saraswati civilization. Some of his books are Epigraphia, Indus script, Hypertext and Meanings, Comparative Study of over 25 ancient Bharatiya languages, etc. In 2018, he received an award from the Sanatana Dharma Foundation, the Vakankar Award in 2000, the Shivananda Eminent Citizens Award in 2008, Dr. Hegdewar Prajna Samman 2008 Mystic Society Centenary Award. He was also awarded an honorary D Literature by Deccan College, deemed university from Pune. So this is actually very little about sir's credentials and work. And over to the sir to start with the presentation. And if he could tell a little more about himself, about his work and more, we will be grateful. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Namaste. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavata Mesada. Then Rishi Grisamada Rigvedamlo, in Rigveda, Rishi Grisamada says, Ambitame, Naditame, Devitame Saraswati, Aprasasta Ivasmasi, Prashastin Ambaraskrudi. Amma antadu. Amma, he says. Why does he call her Amma? Because this great river, he calls her a river. This great river Saraswati promoted, sustained a living civilization of a number of people working in a number of places along the river Saraswati. So we will do this presentation in a number of sessions. We'll start with this background of the river Saraswati and Bharatiya civilization in 4 parts. 1, an inquiry into the creation of wealth of nation of Bharatam from 4th millennium before Common Era. 2nd, reason for the desiccation of river Saraswati. 3rd, identifying the mother tongue, lingua franca of Bharatam from 4th millennium BCE. And 4th, from Epigraphia Indica resource, that is Indus script inscriptions. You know, these Indus script inscriptions today, as of now, have been published in 5 photographic volumes. They total more than 9,000. So let us not be overwhelmed by this enormous resource that is available to us, we'll tackle that one by one. So this resource constitutes the earliest epigraph anywhere in the world. These of course constitute the Epigraphia Indus script, Epigraphia Indica, the earliest ones, right from 4th millennium BCE, because the earliest inscription was found on a potsherd written with 3 signs. That potsherd has been deciphered with the sign that has been shown there. So that is the start of the Indus Valley civilization script. So the script relates to at least based on the present evidence from 3300 before Common Era. And now let us get a background of where the archaeological setup was there for this script emerged. The principal reason for the changes in the course of the river Saraswati is mainly because of the recurring, ongoing tectonic activity in northwest Bharat. So as we sit here today and listen to this talk, the Indian plate is moving northwards at a very gentle pace of about 6 centimeters per year. And it's lifting up the Himalayan mountain range, lifting it up and forming the Himalayas. The formation of the Himalayas continues even today. So that formation of the Himalayas creates a lot of tectonic events ranging from 1 on the Richter scale to 7 on the Richter scale. Number of events have been recorded. We'll go through that in the course of time. Then the ongoing efforts are there to map the mother tongue of the civilization of Bharatam from 4th millennium BCE. And that is more than 6,000 years ago. We have to resolve the conflicts that have arisen in the linguistic studies about Sanskritam, Indo-European, Proto-Indo-European, and the links with the Sanskritam and other Indian languages. There are a number of Indian languages and number of families. We can start with the decipherment of the script corpora of over 9,000 inscriptions, which document the visual language of a wealth accounting system. So the entire corpora of 9,000 inscriptions relates to documenting an accounting system, wealth accounting system. Okay, next slide.
సార్ కుడ్ యూ మన వీడియో స్టాప్ చేద్దాం సార్, అంటే మధ్య మధ్యలో వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది. సో పీపుల్ విల్ ఓన్లీ సీ ద ప్రెజెంటేషన్. సార్ ఇంకా వీడియో వస్తుంది సార్.
Okay. This is the map showing the area where the civilization flourished. Okay. Go to the next slide, please.
సార్ వీడియో ఇంకా వస్తుంది సార్, మీది స్టాప్ చేయండి ఒకసారి. వీడియో ఒకసారి స్టాప్ చేయాలి సార్, ఆడియో.
ఓకే
ఓకే ఓకే ఫైన్ సార్. ఇప్పుడు
సెట్ చేద్దాం. ఓకే,
Monkey, do a presentation, do some presentation again.
Okay, okay. Is it fine now? Haindavudu?
Yes, it is fine now.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So let us take a look at this slide. See, this is a very brilliant study by Angus Maddison, who did this for European Economic Community. They commissioned him from University of Cambridge to do a world economic study of the global GDP historical account. He started from 0 common era until one first common era, that is 2000 years ago, and ended up with 2000 AD, 2000 common era. So he prepared a spreadsheet, a bar chart showing the different contributions made by different countries of the world from one common era. So the dark brown refers to the contribution made by China. The light brown or orange refers to the contribution made by India, and the other top of it are small countries all over the world. So look at this. Look at that orange. The biggest contribution was made by India in one common era. It almost accounted for 67% of the world GDP in one common era. How did it happen? So for thousands of years earlier to that one common era, it's from 4th millennium before common era, for 4,000 years, the number of artisans of the Indian civilization, Bharatiya civilization, have contributed to the creation of this wealth. This wealth by trade and commerce, and creating new activities, new production, finding new resources. All that explains why 67% of the world GDP was contributed by Bharat. Then over a period of time, since one common era, right up to 2000 common era, there has been a decline consistently. Up to 1700 it was fine. From that 1700 onwards, there has been a sharp decline. What is the importance of this date, 1700? That is the time when the East India Company entered the region. So there is a loot of the wealth of the nation from that time. That is a major cause for the poverty and the Bengal famine that was caused. All those details will come forth. So, but we are not interested in this historical study. We are going back into time from one common era to backwards in time to 4th millennium before common era. So that's why this map is important and the bar chart is important. So we will answer the question, how did Bharat become the richest country in the world by one common era? I am saying it is thanks to the contribution of seafaring merchants of Bharat and artisans who recorded their trade in over 9,000 Induscript inscriptions. So that's why the Induscript inscriptions are most valuable data resource available for us to reconstruct our ancient history from 4,000 before common era to one common era. These epigraphia India inscriptions are a resource to document how the wealth of the nation was created. Wealth of the guilds were created, called Shredis. Okay, next step. Okay, now we have some extraordinary evidences available in sculptures and in temples. Here's an example of a temple in Khajuraho where there is a Varaha temple, Varaha Avatara Pratima in Khajuraho, and also in Iran, and a number of such sculptures of Varaha, of which very brilliant study has been done by a great lady. It venerates the blacksmith sitting on top of a makara. In a blacksmith, he bellowing, he holds a staff in his hand, saying that he's a guild master. He's a blacksmith guild master. So there are footsteps shown on the Varaha statue. Padada, footstep. Similar meaning, Fada, metals manufacturing. So that means they were using homonyms or similar sounding words to convey enormous meaning. So the footstep signifies, footstep of Mother Earth signifies Fada, metals manufacturing. It's called in Dravidian languages, Telugu, Pattika, Pattada, anvil, Kannada, Pattade, Pattadi, anvil, Pada, Marathi. So now, these are very important ways of describing and presenting to the people the knowledge system. So that's why on the snout of the Varaha, see the picture. It shows a Saraswati holding a veena. Why? Why is a veena Saraswati shown on the chashal, on the snout of the Varaha? Snout of the Varaha is called chashala. Chashala also means a mechanical contrivance which oxidizes impure metal and makes it pure. Purification of metal, chashala. There's a pillar, a skamba, which is set on fire in a fire altar. That creates oxidation of the impure metals and creating pure metals. So that's how the wealth was created. So this is an extraordinary documentation of the contribution made by thousands of artisans. In fact, the entire Varaha statue is filled with pictures of people. Filled with pictures of people who made a contribution to the wealth of their country. So for example, the person who is shown in the Makara is the Dhamaka, Velos Bloyer. Dhamakara, becomes Makara. Makara means bellows blower. Makara. That becomes Makara. So Makara becomes a Vahana of Ganga, where on the Ganga Valley, a lot of metallurgical activity was taking place with the available resources of iron ore and coal. Okay, so this is background of the civilization. Next, please. Now let us go back to the Vedic river Saraswati. She is also a metaphor for the mover of wealth. It is assisted in this beautiful prayer called Rashtriya Suktam, which she says, Rishi Agamrani, I am the mover of nation's wealth. Aham Rashtriya Sangamani Vasunam. Vasu means wealth. Sangamani means moving. Gamani, Gamanam. Now, incredible. In fact, we can listen to this video and see how beautifully the description is given about Twasta, the artisans, the Vasus, the 8 wealth-given divinities, the Rudras, the Ahanasam, the destroyer of the enemy, the thunderbolt maker, Ahangar, and so on. Okay, now let's listen to a few mantras. It's a prayer. Okay, we come back to the next slide, please. Now, look at this. An incredible study was made about how the bronze was made. Kanchu, Kamsa. Of course, Bronze Age civilization we are talking about of the 4th millennium BC downwards up to say about 2nd millennium when iron was brought in. How did the bronze revolution take place? It was powered by the copper supplied from Meluha, Urdu Luha, Loha, Urdu Rudra, red copper, powered the Bronze Age revolution. This has been scientifically proven in a very brilliant study by Friedrich Schmidt-Stecker and Begemann, published in Iranica Antica in 2009, where they say that about 90% of the artifacts, bronze artifacts that have been found in entire Europe were created from the copper that came from Meluha. That has got a very signature tune called the isotope study. So the isotope of the metals that were taken for investigation showed very clearly that the only source could have been from the Khetri mines of Rajasthan and from Gujarat coast, the Ran of Kutch. So the Bronze Age revolution was significantly contributed by the wealth of copper and of course tin also, which went to all over Mediterranean region, even up to Anatolia, through the Tigris-Euphrates river maritime territory. So the copper and tin powered the Bronze Age revolution in ancient Near East, and it occurred because of the copper that was available, routed through ancient Meluha merchants and made by Meluha artisans. So the seafaring merchants and trading agents operating on the sites of Persian Gulf, taking these resources, created the Bronze Age revolution. So it's very important background, okay? But the most important thing is River Saraswati. She was navigable between 4th and 3rd millennium before Common Era and was a major riverine segment for maritime navigation and trade, along with Persian Gulf and Arabian Ocean, okay? And also other parts of the Indian Ocean. We'll come to that. Next, please. So now this interaction was taking place. There are also people, the artisans and seafaring merchants who are working. What language did they speak? Did they speak Sanskritam? Did they speak some form of Indo-European languages? Or were there interactions among the people between Saraswati civilization or Meluha and Iran? Or also other parts of Europe where the Indo-European languages are getting created? Or was it also linked with the Kyrgyzstan? Now, for example, a remarkable study was made And a dictionary was created for Tocharian, which is from Kyrgyzstan, north of the Himalayas. Now it is in China, where Tocharian was spoken. And the dictionary finds there is a word called Anchu, which means iron. This word is cognate with the Rigvedic term Amshu, which means Soma, which is the major project bought from Mount Bujavan, Kyrgyzstan, traders, processed and documented in detail in Vedic texts of Somayagna. So John Pinault made a significant declaration in 2006 World Sanskrit Conference that this Anchu word seems to have been derived from Amshu, Soma. So now we have an incredible problem to cope with. If Anchu is iron, how can Amshu, Soma mentioned to us? There's a lot of metaphors about Soma. Was it also a metallic product of the Bronze Age? We don't know. We should investigate further. Okay. So this is a very important entry in the Tocharian dictionary about the word Anchu and Anchuasi, made of iron. And we'll also find from the Indus script a lot of it mentioned about iron. Ias, alloy metal, maybe copper, maybe metal, maybe iron. Because it's been translated as Amsu or Ias in a number of Indo-European languages. What was the source of this particular word? Ias, we'll figure out. But it has got to be a very important component of describing the interaction among the languages of Bharat and also with the Indo-European region. So this is an important component which will unravel and raise a number of mysteries about the language structure of the people of the Saraswati civilization in Northwest Bharat. Next, please. Okay, now some beautiful pictorial presentation has been made in a number of studies using satellite images. Here we have three maps. One map shows the status of the archaeological sites in 4000 before Common Era. Second map shows 3500 before Common Era. Now, a number of sites are arisen in Northwest Bharat along the river Saraswati. All those red and black, they are all sites, archaeological sites. So, starting westward from the west of Sindhu river, the people started moving eastwards along the Saraswati River basin. Now again, third map shows 2020 before Common Era. Look at the incredible increase in the number of archaeological sites in Gujarat. Of course, 3,700 Gujarat sites also existed. 4,000 before Common Era, Gujarat sites existed. So Gujarat seems to be a core component of the origin, creation of the civilization. We'll come to that. So Gujarat, Northwest Bharat, Saraswati River, and right into Ganga Valley. Now we are able to clearly see the movement of the people from Northwest India and from Gujarat along the river Saraswati into Ganga Valley. We will also see Balarama's pilgrimage, which starts from Dwaraka, goes to Somnath, Prabhas Patan, and then starts the journey for 42 days, goes up to Prabhas, goes up to Swargarohini, and returns after 42 days. Very clearly decoded in the Mahabharata, our great epic. So we have got a lot of historical evidence, documentary evidence from the literary texts, which can recreate the movement of people and the progress of the civilization and how Balarama visits the Tirthasthanas and venerates the ancestors whose stories are resounding at that point in time. Whatever the date of the Mahabharata, I do not get into dispute about that. But the Mahabharata records Balarama's Tirthayatra. We'll come to that. Okay. So now we can see clearly a movement of people. Now the movement of people not only took towards the Ganga basin, they also moved south of Gujarat, along the coastline of the west coast, through Konkan region, through Karnataka, through Chera kingdom of Kerala. So there is a downward movement also of the people. For that also we have got evidence from the Sangam texts. So there is a movement of the people from the core area of the civilizational starting point into all over Bharat. So that means these people who were speaking some language at that point in time, say about 6,000 years ago, started moving as artisans and traders all over Bharat. So we have got a good lead on the creation of the Bharatiya languages. So if you can get back into lexicons of Bharat, there are a number of lexicons. There are a lot of nigantus available for Ayurvedic formations, the flora, and the fauna. That is the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. So we've got a lot of words which seem to match with the Indus script for pictographs. The pictures of a one-horned young bull called unicorn, a zebu bull, Brahmani bull, elephant, a tiger, a rhinoceros, even a boar, and so on. So a number of narratives are available on the Indus script which can link up with these dictionary terms of all the languages of Bharat, which today retain the memories of the past. So most of the languages today constitute a linguistic area. That's what linguists have concluded. It's called Pragbund, a language union. So a unity of languages existed in a Desi Bhasha spoken by these artisans and seafaring merchants, which became the core of the languages later on formed in Bharat. So now today we have a number of languages in Bharat. How did it happen? It happened not because Sanskrit was the major source. Of course it was the major source, but it was only one of the languages. There are a number of other languages are spoken, like the Mundarika, like the Santali, like the Tibetan Burmo languages, like the Dravidian languages, like the Indo-Aryan languages, the Marwadi, the Gujarati, the Bhojpuri, and so on. So all those languages are to pull together and let us reconstruct the speech of these artisans and seafaring merchants. I think it's possible. So for that, we can have a pin down the language that was spoken by the people and the artisans and how they recorded their activities in these accounting ledgers called the Indus script. Okay, again repeat, the Indus script is an accounting system, wealth accounting system documented by artisans and seafaring merchants who created the wealth of the nation. Okay, next. Now, let us now inquire a little into the formation of the Himachala. A Prakrita Pralaya of the plate tectonics and series of events that were occurring all the time because of the movement of the Indian plate northwards. Then it also resulted in the avulsion of the river Saraswati, which was cut off from glacial flows. Approximately around 2000 before Common Era. About 4,000 years ago, Saraswati got cut off from the glacial Himalayan resources supply of water. So the avulsion of the cutting off of land by flood currents or change of course of a body of water, two principal plate tectonic events have been noted. One is called the Yamuna tear, another is called the Sutlej tear. Yamuna tear occurred close to Yamunanagar, near Paonta Sahib, and the Sutlej tear occurred very close to Saraswati, Sutlej river origin. These two tectonic events shifted the course of the river Saraswati, and particularly its tributary called Sutlej, Sutudri, mentioned in the Rigveda, that Sutudri, which was flowing south into the Saraswati river, it was deflected and moved westwards. So we can record the movement of the Sutlej river westwards because of the tectonic event. Similarly, the Yamuna tear had earlier caused the movement of the Yamuna river, which was also flowing into Saraswati, it moved eastwards. So this eastward shift of Yamuna and the westward shift of Sutlej or Sutudri are two important reasons why the river Saraswati got avulsed. There was an incredible change in its glacial resource. Now, very beautifully, our artists created a metaphor of the cosmic dancer. So, a cosmic dance is taking place of Bharatam. The Bharatam plate is moving northwards and slowly 6 centimeters per year and is lifting up the Himalayas about roughly about 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter. Today, the Mount Everest is no longer the tallest mountain in the range. It is the K2 Karakoram, which is the tallest mountain range, as seen from satellite images. So it goes on, up and down movement. But the lifting of the Himalayas and creation of the Himalayan mountains is a very crucial event, which is enormous energy, which had an incredible impact on the total climate and the surroundings within which this civilization operated. So there are also Mount above the desert area, and also riverine flows, and westward, eastward riverine flows of Ganga, and flow of Brahmaputra into turning eastward, turning 90 degrees near Arunachal Pradesh capital, and then turning westwards and joining Ganga. So Ganga, Yamuna together contributing to the wealth of the eastern region of our country. So this Tandava Nrityam of Kalagni Rudra and Prakrita Pralaya, the resolution of the lifespan of Brahma's ends, says Saura Purana. So the desiccate of the river Saraswati and the possibility of reviving the river Saraswati are very important events. So now we know a remarkable tradition that Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati joined together at a place called Prayagraj, where there was a Triveni Sangamam, 3 rivers joining together. How did it happen? Today we see Ganga, Yamuna joining very clearly. But where was Saraswati? Did Saraswati also join these 2 rivers and became Triveni Sangamam? It's a point for much detailed investigation. We have got some ideas, okay? Some leads are available in the glaciological studies, geological studies. Now look at it. We are getting into archaeology, getting into hydrology, we are going to glacier studies, we are also getting into geology, okay? And also, of course, art forms. So all these are combined together to recreate our civilizational picture, which dates back from 4th millennium before Common Era. Next, please. Now, look at the Himalayas. It's an extraordinary mountain range, unparalleled anywhere in the world. Look at the number of rivers that are emerging from these great Himalayan mountains. Eastward, Brahmaputra, Yangtze Huanghe, and Mekong River. Very important river, which flows down through Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, eastern part of this country. So the eastern part is as important as the Indian Bharatam part. Then the west flowing rivers, the Saraswati, Satluj, and the Panchanadis, and east flowing river, Ganga, Yamuna. So look at the incredible amount of water that is being sourced from the Himalayas, molten snow, melted snow, flowing through the rivers perennially. And these are navigable territory even today. We have got navigation going on in the Ganga and Brahmaputra basins. So similarly, it's possible to recreate the Vedic Saraswati river and have navigation also in Vedic Saraswati river. Once it flows full steam, it's possible. The interlinking of rivers, its own solution has been found by our glaciologists and hydrologists. That will give a remarkable solution to using the water source of the country to fight the drought and floods. Brahmaputra causes a number of floods every year. Thousands of villages get washed away and then recreated again. So we have to control the floods. Similarly, we have got to control the drought south of the Vindhyas, where some rivers dry up and during the summer there are problems in finding water for irrigation and for growing of crops. So can we reach out water for them 24 hours, 24/7? Can we make every river of our country perennial? Why not? Today's technology is available which can make this possible. So a lot of studies have been done, investigate into carefully that they are ecologically sustainable, and we can recreate the river Saraswati together with making all the rivers of the country perennial rivers using the Himalayan waters. For example, the Brahmaputra waters alone can service the entire South Indian region. Complete, all the rivers can be fed through the Himalayan waters. The flood waters is surplus to Assam where there is not enough land available for cultivation, can be taken down through Subarna Rekha, through Mahanadi, through Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and down to all the rivers of South India, so that the Brahmaputra waters, the flood waters of Brahmaputra, can reach out to every part of the country. It will be an incredible revolution when we can see the Saraswati also getting reborn using the Sarada river waters. We are now joining Ganga river. Those Sarada river waters cause a lot of floods in the Ganga. If those waters can be transferred through an aqueduct crossing Ganga and Yamuna, reaching to Saraswati river, the Rajasthan canal, this part of the Saraswati river system, can be recreated to go right up to Sabarmati and even up to the Saurashtra region, Lothal. Narmada and Tapati can be joined. So the waters can flow right through into Gujarat. So Gujarat also can be fed with the Himalayan waters. The Ran of Kutch area can be made into a watershed for the entire region, providing fresh water resources. So the possibilities are immense. Our technologists are available who can make this happen. I think it's definitely going to happen in course of time. So this is the great water tower, which supplies the water for so many millions of people, for so many millennia. That has been the total life giver, water giver of the nation. So this importance is recognized in our temples, where we have the Shivalinga. On top of it, there is a water dropping, dip by dip, 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 drop, drop, drop. So continuous abhishekam is done. So Trayambaka is one of the Jyotirlinga sthalas, where the Jyotirlinga of Trayambaka looks like three dots. The three Ambakas, Trayambaka. Ambaka is water, Ambika is river, Ambika. Ambaka, Trayambaka. So that Trayambaka metaphor and the metaphors that we saw about the Varaha in the Varaha temple of Khajuraho, they're all linked together in how we can use the resources of water to make it available for a civilization to be sustained, and their work activities, life activities can go on. Okay, next please. So now, Professor Baldia, a great geologist who is no more with us, he has made two contributions. One is wrote a book in 2002 called the Saraswati, the river that disappeared. An extraordinary documentation. Because he had traveled along the Himalayas, he has trekked the entire distance. He also recorded in this table number of tectonic events that have taken place. Most of them are plate tectonic events. And two critical events, which I mentioned earlier, caused the evolution of river Saraswati, desiccation of the river Saraswati. But remember, these tectonic events are taking place also in Gujarat, in the Ran of Kutch area. And the Mahabharata records a tectonic event where the ocean enters and submerges the entire area of Dwaraka. And people move southwards. It's called Tovarai in Tamil. From Tovarai, people started moving southwards along the coastline. So their migration after the Mahabharata war, this tectonic event occurred, which resulted in the submergence of Dwaraka. Of course, S.R. Rao has done brilliant work in identifying the marine archaeological work. So a marine museum has been set up in Gujarat. It will be a very important center for reviewing the progress. Similarly, there is going to be a new initiative initiated by Dr. Sanjeev Sanyal together with the Indian Navy for recreating the sewn boats traveling along the Persian Gulf. You know, there were boats with boards sewn together with coconut fiber or coir ropes were used for tying up these planks. And that was the board Jangada. That was the boat that was used for transmitting cargo from the Persian Gulf, from the Dholavera and other sites of the Gorteza civilization in the Ran of Kutch. They are ports. From those ports, along the Persian Gulf, movement was taking place of the resources, the cargo on the human boats. So this is the picture of both the tectonic events which created some disturbance in the flow of the river Saraswati, and also how the sites of Gujarat were totally desiccated, and then they started moving northwards towards Ganga, and also towards south, towards Chera kingdom. Okay, next please. So this tectonic event in Dwaraka is recorded in the great epic, the Mahabharata, as at the end of this Yadava civil war. After the departure of Sri Krishna to his heavenly abode, at the end of this Yadava civil war, Arjuna visits Dwaraka to bring Krishna's grandsons and Yadava wives to Hastinapura, which is near Delhi. After Arjuna left Dwaraka, it was submerged. The account given by Arjuna is in Mahabharata. It says, the sea, which had been beating against the shores, suddenly broke the boundary that is imposed upon by nature. The sea rushed into the city. It coursed through the streets of the beautiful city, Dwaraka. The sea covered up everything in the city. I saw the beautiful buildings becoming submerged one by one. In a matter of a few moments, it was all over. The sea had now become as placid as a lake. There was no trace of the city. Dwaraka was just a name, just a memory. This memory is called Thorai in Tamil literature, in Sangam literature. Thorai. Next, please.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So how long did this have taken place? Like, I mean, it happened over days or like immediately? Because when we hear about plate tectonics movement,
No, it was an event that took over a period of time. As the Mahabharata explains in very detailed slokas, it was an incredible amount of activity. And then there are also people are fighting against one another. The Yadava civil war was a terrible event, which also is linked to the curse given by Draupadi and Kunti to Sri Krishna. You say, Sri Krishna, you have not been the cause for the death of so many people in the Kurukshetra war. You also will suffer. So that was the curse of
Gandhari.
Gandhari. Okay, no, Gandhari is the curse. So that event is recorded in very great detail. So it was over a period of time. We don't know the exact dates and time. We have now also a dispute about the date of the Mahabharata events. Some people question the Mahabharata text. So there's a confusion between the text date and the event date. Looks as though the Kali Yuga is reasonably well dated to 3002 before Common Era. If Kali Yuga date is very firm, then we can recreate the events related to Yadava civil war, because it's mentioned very close to the Kali Yuga, mentioned in the text. So the astronomers have got a lot of job work on their hands. Astrologers and also astronomers. They have to get together and get a clear agreement and a consensus on the date of the Mahabharata war, date of the submergence of Dwaraka, and date of these events that have taken place, which resulted in submergence of Dwaraka. I think these are very important historical markers which have got to be analyzed further in great detail by a number of multidisciplinary efforts. Right? The linguists who can study the Mahabharata have to come in, astronomers and astrologers have to come in, then the geologists have to come in, the hydrologists have to come in. All of them have to put together their ideas, together the archaeologists, to determine what happened. Where is Dwaraka? Is it Dwaraka near Bed Dwaraka? Or is it Bed Dwaraka near Pravas? Where is it? Is it Saurashtra? How did the river reach Saurashtra? It's a little higher now today. Was there a link between Nal Sarovar and the river Saraswati? Did Nal Sarovar link Lothal and Dolavera? These are questions that have got to be answered. Of course, Sir Rao did a very brilliant work. He identified the Nal Sarovar as a very critical link between the Lothal and Dolavera. Possibly there was a navigation, there was a navigable channel that was available. You have to find out through more research. So even satellite images have to be taken to study this problem. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Now, let us come to another important geological fact. The location of Rakhigarhi. I call it the capital of the civilization in northwest Bharat, because Rakhigarhi is located on the water divide Water divide caused by the jetting of the Aravalli ranges into Rakhigarhi, into Delhi, Jhandawalan, and go northwards right up to Simla. That jetting of this range of mountains called Arbuda, Aravalli, creates the water divide. Water flowing south of this range, Aravalli ranges, right through Rakhigarhi, flow eastwards. And waters that are falling on the west of this Aravalli range flow westwards. So that is the water divide, Rakhigarhi. And I also suggest that Rakhigarhi was the transshipment point, Patana, which transshipped from both ways, from copper, from Khetri mines of Rajasthan into Rakhigarhi, and then transferred to the Ganga basin through river boats. Similarly, the iron resources and other resources available through the Ganga Yamuna basin were moved to Rakhigarhi and transshipped westwards through river Saraswati. As you have seen, it's a flowing, it's a navigable river. A navigable river system linked up the Rajasthan, Haryana, Gujarat areas and the Ganga basin. So now we have got a reasonably good idea of the Ganga basin as a central event as the Western Bharat. So Ganga, not much of archaeological work has been done. If you do more detailed work, despite the tough accumulation of sediments of the river flows from Yamuna, Pralaya occurred possibly on the Yamuna, which destroyed a number of sites or discovered or maybe submerged. You have to find out those sites and see how the Ganga civilization and the Saraswati civilization can merge together so that we can recreate the narrative of the civilizational story. So the important maps which show the flow of Yamuna eastwards and flow of the Panchanadi, Sutlej, Bias, River Saraswati,
Sutlej, Jhelum, Chenab,
so
Ravi, Bias.
Yeah. So all those 5 rivers, Panchanadi, flowing westwards. And the Ganga Yamuna flowing eastwards. And creating the Yamuna, the Triveni Sangam in Prague. So if you can recreate the flow of the river Saraswati at some point in time in the past, maybe millennia years ago, we don't know what exactly is the date. We can also recreate the flow of river Saraswati into Yamuna Ganga. Why not? So this is a job that has got to be done. But the report of Farmana, archaeological site by Vasant Shinde, is an extraordinarily well documented effort, which shows some beautiful inscriptions, seals, which show how the wealth was documented as a wealth accounting system, a ledger. The seal constituted a ledger. Now we have got also Roped, where the Sutlej takes a 90-degree turn westwards. And Roped is an important archaeological site. There's also a museum there, which you can visit and see seals of the Indus script. Okay? Next, please. So the Rakhigarhi is on the right bank of river Yamuna and the left bank of river Saraswati. Okay? As the Yamuna flows downwards, eastwards, on the right bank of Yamuna, and on the left bank of Saraswati or Rishadvati or Saraswati, Rakhigarhi is located. There is a brilliant study by Khan and Sinha, 2019, which points to a paleo channel of Sutlej River joining Ghaggar close to the Himalayan ranges. The east of this paleo channel flow is a paleo channels of Yamuna, marked as Y1 and Y2 on the map. It's notable that these Yamuna paleo channels, Y1 and Y2, are to the west of the present day channel of Yamuna River, going into New Delhi, close to Rakhigarhi. Rakhigarhi is shown as Site 1 on the maps. Thus, there are clear indications that Rakhigarhi was located on the right bank of Yamuna River and on the left bank of River Saraswati called Ghaggar. It appears that the paleo channels of Yamuna River joined Vishwadvati Saraswati Ghaggar River channel north of Rakhigarhi, close to Shivalik ranges, Yamuna Nagar. The dates of these channels close to Rakhigarhi have to be further investigated to determine if Rakhigarhi could have been a riverine port linking the ancient maritime waterways of Yamuna and Saraswati rivers of the 4th to to 3rd millennium before Common Era. Because there are some indications that iron was used in Saraswati River civilization. If iron was used, source was from the Ganga basin, Ganga Yamuna basin. That's clear. So we have to figure out this particular investigation is very important to come down to an agreed and well-documented evolution of the riverine systems in the northwest Bharat. Okay, next please. Okay, now we refer to the two tears. One is called Yamuna tear, second one is called the Satluj tear. There are two pictures. On the left is the picture of the Paonta Sahib Yamuna tear. See, the symbolic ranges were cut apart because of the tectonic event, and the rivers that were flowing westwards and creating this Panchanadi, including Saraswati, got deflected to flow southwards. Was it the Yamuna? Was it the old Saraswati? We have to investigate. Similarly, there is a Satluj tear that also is recorded, which resulted in the deflection of the river, Satluj river, which is the major source of the Saraswati river, a glacial source, coming from the Bandarpunch Massif of the Himalayas. That tear created the deflection of the Satluj river, which is the tributary river Saraswati, at a place called Ropad. So it went westwards. So these two tears are very important. Yamuna tear fault of approximate date 3000 before Common Era due to plate tectonic event in the Himalayas. So this resulted in the eastward change of course of the Giri Yamuna rivers. Next please. So this is to Satluj river fault. It appears to have happened around 2000 BC. So 3000 BC seems to have Yamuna should have shifted eastwards. 2000 BC, Satluj seems to have shifted westwards. Again, due to plate tectonic thrust in the Himalayas, which resulted in the westward change of the course of river Saraswati. This has been well documented by all the other scientists. So virtually, there are no archaeological sites on the present day Satluj course of westwards. All the sites are on the south flowing Satluj, which flowed into Saraswati. At a place called Satrana, the river Saraswati, the width of the river Saraswati is 20 kilometers. Can you believe me? 20 kilometers wide at Satrana. And the average width of the river Saraswati, south of Satrana, right up to Gujarat, is about 6 kilometers width of the river Saraswati. Such a river existed. Such a river exists today in Brahmaputra. In Arunachal Pradesh, where the Brahmaputra river turns 180 degrees and flows westwards, the width of the river is 10 kilometers. At some places, even 14 kilometers. The bridge that has been built recently is a 14-kilometer bridge on the Brahmaputra river. So gigantic river systems existed, both on river Saraswati, Satrana, and also on Brahmaputra. So this is the story that shows the civilizational analysis or the analysis of the script, which has been documenting the wealth, has to be viewed in the complete context. The archaeological, geological, geographic context. It's very important. We can't do it in isolation. You can't just look at the symbols and give some value to it arbitrarily. You can't do that. It's got to be in the context of how the people lived and flourished and created a civilization which had enormous value, wealth of the nation, which made India the richest nation in the world by one common era. Okay? Next, please. I mentioned about the movement of people south of Gujarat from Dwaraka. Here is a text from Purananuru of Sangam literature, which confirms the migration of Velir from Dwaraka about 3000 before Common Era, consistent with the Yadava Siva. Now we have got dates here. Niye Vadapal Munivan, Tadavinul Tondri, Chimbu Punaindu, copper. Yitya chain Nidum Purishay, Uvara Igai Tuvarai Ande, you were ruling over Dwaraka. Thorai. 49 வழி 49 generations வழிமுறை வந்த. So the Velir claimed their ancestry of 49 generations from the submergence of Dwarka, from where they moved southwards. Velirul Veli Viral Por Annal. Spurnanaduru text. You are the best Velir of the Velir clan, with the heritage of 49 generations of Velirs, who gave without limits. They were absolute donors. They sacrificed all their wealth and shared it with the people. Who ruled Tivarai with its long walls that seemed to be made of copper, walls of copper. The city that appeared in the sacrificial pit of the northern sage Yaja, king, who is virtuous in battles. This is what the Purnavaru text is. Here we have the cosmic dance of the Nataraja, Urdhvatandava Nrityam of Shivara, performing a Dandapada Karana. Karana means a dance step. It's a Kumbakonam temple records this. Look at the beauty of narration of Karana. And this word Karana again and again will come back in the script. Karana is a dance pose. Karana also means the rim of a jar. Karana also means a scribe. Karnam, an accountant. Karana also means a dispatch, a messenger. This is the importance of the word Karana, okay? Next, please. Now, look at the wealth they created. There is a brilliant study by Paul Yule, which appeared in 1997 Expedition magazine on the copper hoards of northern India. Look at the type of artifacts that have been found. There are rods. Sometimes they are called cells. The rods were ingots. Bronze, metal, ingots. Bronze or copper ingots. They were bars of metal. They were ingots. Kulu is a sprout, is a sign of the script. This Kulu is a sprout, a small sprout emanating from the root. Kulu also means a bar of metal. These bars of metal are ingots, which were used to create equipment in a forge, in a smithy and a forge, where they will beat it down and create a sword, beat it down, create a vessel, beat it down, create a sickle, and so on. So a number of metalware could be made from these basic components. Of course, there are also harpoons, which we also study in the script. Harpoon is a very specific indication in the script, where a person with a harpoon fights against a bull or a buffalo. You'll see that, okay? So the inscription M749 shows maritime trade of bar metal ingots. Because I see that this unicorn and the standard in front of the unicorn signified maritime trade activity, maritime messengers from a circular village, hamlet village. So the young bull, which is the unicorn, was called Konda. A similar sounding word, Konda means a circular hamlet village. And we have seen there are circular working platforms in Harappa. Scores of them, tens of them. We'll see about that. There will be a disbursement in the script. Okay? It's the importance of the Kulu. It's a very important metallic component of creation of wealth. Next, please. So now we are mixing up the historical events from the script. Now let us look at a magnificent script. Here is a tablet from Harappa, which shows the H192 tablet, Harappa tablet, in bas relief. It's a magnificent rendering of the mandra, low tone by a drummer. Mandra is some word. Mandra means a low tone. In musical systems, mandra is referred to in very great detail. And in Santali language, mandar means a village headman. And in the Kaitri mines, the furnace is called mandari. So if this drummer was a mandar, if mandari is a blast furnace, was this drummer signifying a furnace for smelting copper? And what is this tiger? So the Santali word mandara means a drum, which goes to illustrate the mandara low tone in the 7 tones sarigama padanisa. Mandriya is a drummer. So mandar, mandriya, then tiger. Kul means a tiger in Santali. Kula means chief of a corporation or guild or shreni. So a guild master, a village headman, and dealing with something recorded. 3 script items. Then the same 3 script items appear in the side B of the tablet, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 swastika, alternating arms. What does this 5 swastika signify? And what does this test script signify? And why are they associated with the tiger and the drummer? Are they all just only iconic, meaningless? What is the meaning? If you are able to identify the words associated with these pictures, like the mandara, drum, mandriya, drummer, or mandar, village headman, mandari, a blast furnace, we are seem to be dealing with, and kula, kul, tiger, kula, guild master. So we seem to be dealing with a group of people, artisans, who are somehow trying to express themselves in their language, the Desi language, the language of the guilds, the artisan guilds, seafaring merchant guilds, what they are trying to do. So what these words, did they signify these images? If so, we can get a handle on the Melha language. And we also see how Melha and Mecha are very important. They are very detailed in the Mahabharata text. We'll go into it in detail. The conversation between Vidura and Yudhishthira about the lakh house, Jatagurha, also gets recorded in the conversation between Kanaka the minor and Yudhishthira. But both these people use Melha language for communication. Mahabharata is emphatic that there is no book in Melha language because Melha signified technical terms, the Desi Bhasha, that could be expressed only in Melha language. So Melha also was later on declared as a mispronunciation of words compared to the enormous amount of sacredness associated with the words in the mantras of the Rigveda and Yajurveda and so on. So they did not want to commit any mistake in pronunciations. So they said Vecha is a mispronunciation. That's one of the explanations given for the Vecha. But they are Melha, Desi Bhasha. The spoken language you have to reconstruct to be able to read these inscriptions. Okay? So this tablet is a very important resource for us to pursue further on the search for the language of the civilization. Okay? Next, please. Desi Bhasha. You know, we have the great Desi Ramamala of Hemachandra, which records most of the Desi words which have been absorbed into Sanskritam and all the languages of our country. These artisans who created these words in a guild speech called Desi Bhasha, this Desi Bhasha is recognized as an expression in the Indian epigraphical glossary. In the Indian epigraphs, refer to this term of Nana Desis, people from various guilds of various countries, various regions. And this measurement is a mandara. Vadya Vishesham. Mandara is a new drum that creates a tung, dung, 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 dum, dum. Like the Shiva's Tandava Nritya, which was associated with the drum beat. You know, the hand drum that he used, Damaru. So Sanskritam retains thousands of words, a lexical repertoire, which includes the semantic expansion of root words, like Smandara. Thus, Sanskritam is the principal resource for reconstructing the mother tongue, Desi Bhasha of civilization. But Sanskritam alone is not enough. We have to go through the language dictionaries, the Gujarati, the Kachi, the Marwadi, the Sindhi, the Prakrit, the Pali, the Ardhamagadi, the Magadha, and so on. Bengali, Santali, Munda, Kuruku, Kui, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil, Marathi. All these languages, they are, of course, they are all retained the memories of those old words of the Desi Bhasha, and they are all documented, incredibly well documented dictionaries. For example, the Gujarati dictionary alone is in 13 volumes. The Mundarika Encyclopedia is in 14 volumes. The South Indian language, the Tamil language, is run by the University of Chennai, University of Madras, in 3 volumes. Phenomenal documentation done by 25 scholars over a period of 10 years. So the documentation of the lexical terms are a very important source. Similarly, we got tens of nigantus which document the flora and fauna, the plant words, the root words, the leaf words, the fruit words, the flower words. They are all medical components in Ayurveda. So they also contain words. So the damaru, which is a Sanskrit term for the drum, results in the tradition that the damaru created the sounds of the Sanskrit language. Dum, sound. Damaru. Perhaps this word itself is a loan from Dravidian. We don't know. There are only guesses. We don't know which came from where. Because the linguist, for example, Yemeno, who did the Dravidian etymological dictionary, says it's impossible to determine the direction of the loan. Did it come from Dravidian into Sanskritam or from Sanskritam into Dravidian? Who knows? You only make guesses. It's only guesswork. But one thing is clear. That entire area of the northwest Bharat, where a lot of activity is taking place, civilizational activity, was a Spragbund, a language union, a linguistic area where people from different language families absorbed words from one another and made them their own. The rules of utterance, the syntax, they also made them their own. That's how the languages evolved. That's how we see today a number of languages in our country. They're all not different languages. They're all sourced from one root source. Say, Desi Bhasha. And from there, languages spread. Welcome to take the word Mandara. Mandara is explained incredibly detailed in some texts in the Shabdakalpadruma, which is a great encyclopedia. And Amara also refers to Mandara as related to the sthai in tones of the Sangeetam. Sarigama Padanisa, maybe it is the 7th or 8th tone. Madhyama, so Meghadutta refers to it. Madhya Vishesham. Mandro Vashtaha. Tadbhashi Sayana explains the Rigvedic explanation for Mandra in the Rigveda. Agne Jyosva Pratyarvivat Tadvacho Mandra. So the tone is very low tone. Tung, tung, tap, 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 tap. Swad, Vakrita, Jata, Sukruto, Mandra, Madana Shila. So the drum beat occurs of the bandar, the bandriya, the drum beater. The mandara is translated into very detailed explanation of the musical system, knowledge system of music of the country. Vadyabheti, so phonetic variations occur, phonetic disturbances occur in this word mandara. Tamil also records this mandaram, the name of a lowest pitch. Padta losai, mandara madhyamai, taramimai in Kallairam. It's also a musical system, 7th note of the gamut, represented by ni in Sarigama Padani, ni. That tone, that is 7th swara, becomes the drum beat. Ni. Okay. So this whole musical system is also linked to the drummer of the Harappa tablet. So Harappa tablet somehow records the drummer's name. We had to pin down what was the word that was used at that point in time when the script was written down by the Harappan scribe and the Harappan artisans. I submit that relates to the guild speech of the Mandari furnace, which was furnace used in Khetri mines for processing copper, melting copper. Okay, next please. Mandari is a smelting furnace of the civilization. I got a number of references where the same text script appears. There is a brilliant report on the copper works at Singana near Khetri in the Shekhawati country, Rajasthan. This is dated 1858. Gleanings in Sciences, 1831. I'll read out the text. It's very important. At the end of the mine, kanaka, a quantity of firewood is collected. Kan is a mine. Each laborer is provided with a lamp, diya, a hammer, hathori, a mining chisel or gad, called tanki. A chisel is a tanki. A gada is a tanki. A small wicker basket called tokri. The proceeds of their labor, which is cultivated at a public sabutra near the smelting furnace Mandari of Singana. The Mandari is called a smelting furnace at Singana for smelting copper and iron and other minerals. You call it copper, you call it iron, you call it metal, you call it iron, doesn't matter. But some work was going on in this Mandari furnace. In preparing the blast furnace, Mandari, a quantity of common sand is first spread upon the floor of a circular hut. Circular hut! Which you will see in Harappa. Number of circular huts, circular platforms above which there should have been huts. Circular hut, the center of which is formed a small hollow of the shape and size of a common brass kneading dish. Tali. That is to say, 12 or 15 inches in diameter and 2 or 3 inches deep. In this is first laid a stratum of fine yellow sand and then another of ashes, rakh, to prevent the melted metal from adhering to the bottom of the receiver. 2 clay nozzles, mush, are then placed on opposite sides of the shallow pan. Mus, you'll see this word mus again in script. Musha is a crucible, mus is a bellow, as is seen here. And a third one between them, leaving the four-side variant to allow the melted dross to escape. So these are words collected from the artisans of Khetri mines, Shingana of Khetri in Sakawat country. These are memories, these are words which have been retained for generations and transferred from generation to generation. I call this Deshi Bhasha, and we will find the meaning of these words in a number of old dictionaries, including Prakratam Dictionary, Pali Dictionary, and Yamasandra's Desi Namamala, and a number of other language dictionaries. So the national language dictionaries are a very important resource to identify identification of the pictures, identification of the words related to the pictures, and similar sounding words which mean the expression, the meaning conveyed by the picture. So the meaning conveyed is not a tiger. Meaning conveyed is kul tiger, kula, Edmund, killed master. Similarly, a drummer. The drummer is a specific word associated in that particular lingua franca of the civilization of 4th millennium. If he is Mandari, it refers to Mandari, a furnace. Okay? So this is how we have got to get into reading this script with reference to the language that is made available to us in the archaeological context. We have seen this report, archaeological context of the Shingana Khetri mines. Copper smelting. The metal smelting was going on. So Mandari is a furnace. So Mandari seems to be a drummer working with the Mandari furnace, which associates with the kul, the guild, held by the guild. And these 3 words, sentences, and the Sastika signs also must relate to that particular activity. Or the Mandari, whatever he was doing. So this cannot be wished away, and we will take a look at only at the script. We got to take a look at the images, the meaning conveyed by the images, and the languages that carry the image meanings, semantics from generation to generation. It's a reconstruction. We can get back in time to that time when the Harappa tablet was made, maybe 2500 before Common Era. Who knows? Because they have not been archaeologically, stratigraphically, specifically dated. But roughly, with the Harappan major so-called mature phase produced a number of these seals and inscriptions. So this mature phase is dated 2500 to 1900 before Common Era by archaeologists. So some more to that particular date. At that date, what was the language that was used to represent these pictures? These pictures are not meaningless. Associated with these pictures are the underlying words, the lingua franca of this civilization. That is the core of the entire process of decipherment of 9,000 inscriptions that we have found. Okay. Next, please. Accounting for maritime trade. Here is an astonishing example from the Louvre Museum. A large pot with a lid was found, and it contained a script on the rim of the jar. It's a rimmed vessel, and it contained a number of articles. So what is this symbol? 342, which is a very important symbol. Because it occurs about 10% of all the inscriptions contain this symbol. It is the most frequent sign which occurs on the Indus script corpora. And it's very clearly showing not a rimless part, but a rimmed part. So the focus seems to be, the emphasis seems to be on the rim of the jar. Karnika is rim of the jar. In Sanskritam, Kanka, Kanda Kanka. In Santali, similar sounding word is Karana, accounting, Karnika, 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 and Karnaka, Karnika. Karnika also is a helmsman, a boatman, a steersman. So if you look at this particular unicorn seal, there is a spoked wheel on the throat, on the wheel on the neck, spoked wheel on the neck. What is the word? In Pashto language, sark means a potter's wheel. Similar sounding words are sark, arka, copper, gold. Melke means a throat. Melaka means a company. Thus, copper company. The unicorn seems to relate to a copper company, where accounting was taking place. Karnaka. Now look at this jar. Its contents is recorded. There is an image of flowing water. There is an image of fish with fins of the fish, and an aquatic bird tied by a rope to some kind of a stick. Why is a bird tied? An aquatic bird is tied to a rope. Why? And why is water flowing water shown? Kanda means water. Kanda, the sounding word, means metal equipment. Ayo means fish. In Mundarika, number of Mundarika languages, including Santali. Similar sounding word is aya, iron, maybe metal alloy, maybe copper, maybe iron, ayas. Then the fins of the fish. Kambata means fish fin. Similar sounding word, kambata, mint, coiner, coinage. Now, mint, kambata seems to be represented by that fish. So, from the mint, this transfer of material has taken place on the cargo of this part, storage part. Then the duck tied to the stick. Kannada is a sort of duck, particular kind of bird. Kannada, an aquatic bird. In the comparative dictionary of Indo-Aryan languages, Karanda means a duck. Karanda means an alloy. Med is a rope tying to post. Med. So the rope is used to tie the bird. Similar sounding word is med, iron, med, copper in Slavic languages. So iron, copper, med in Santali, med in Slavic. Alternative for the word is poladu in Telugu, called black drago. Similar sounding word is pollard, steel. And this is a fantastic word which appears all over Europe, including Persia. So the note contents of the Susa part should be subjected to archaeometallurgical analysis to detail the metal content of this metalware. So very clearly the storage, the part that's closed, a number of equipment relates to metal. What type of metals were they? We must investigate further. Okay. So these are accounting for maritime trade. It was found in Susa. Definitely it came from Meluha with these words, in these images. And the standard in front of the unicorn also signifies a maritime trade. On top is the lathe called Kunda. Kundana means gem setting. At the bottom is the turning container called Kantala. Kantala means maritime boat. Maritime boat. Kantala also means the pannier on the shoulder of the unicorn. Kantala. Kantala, maritime. Kantala, boat. Kantala, pannier. Kantala, churning container. So the images also have some relation to the message that's being thought to be conveyed in the Beluga cipher, Indus cipher. Okay, next please. Look at the contents of this storage pot. Just amazing. Incredible amount of material have been gathered, including a mirror with 27% tin content. It's a mirror made of bronze, which you find in Aramulla, Kannada in Kerala, even today. The artisans make it. A mirror reflection can be found in the shiny surface of this mirror. Copper mirror. It's contained 27% tin. Where did the tin come from? Tin is not available in Mesopotamia. Tin is not available in Susa. Tin is not available in Rajasthan Valley. Where did tin come from? But tin is available to a large measure in the Mekong Delta, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. Did the tin come from there? Were the Indian merchants agents of the suppliers of tin from the Mekong Delta River? Who knows? Was there maritime traffic along the Indian Ocean rim or along the riverine waterways of Brahmaputra, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati after transshipment in Rakhigarhi? Who knows? We have to investigate further. But these are basic hypotheses that can be pursued further. So the credit for this documentation of these material has been found in the Susa pot, which contained the Indus inscription, is from the Department of Antiquities in Museum of Louvre. It's a 51 centimeter high jar with a diameter of 26 centimeters. The terracotta painted decoration. Excavator of the archaeologist 1907 who found this pot is Jacques Jean Marie. Okay? So now we see an incredible amount of archaeological evidence that's available to us. And each one of these equipment can be related to work done by artisans of the civilization, the pot, the bowl, the plate, the small little holder. It's very tiny. And then axes. Axe. Tanki. Axe. There's some sword. Some bar ingots. Copper mirror. And some cylinder seals with inscriptions. All these are incredible amount of resources. The artificer repertoire of the Beluga artisans that are contained in this storage pot. So now we see the script alone by itself cannot be read unless we clearly understand the background, the archaeological, maritime, trade activity that relates to this script somehow. Because most of the archaeologists are agreed that somehow this documentation in the Indus script corpora, the inscriptions, somehow relate to trade, somehow relate to some kind of activity of artisans. What is those record? If it's related to trade, let us pin it down. If it's related to some kind of a metallurgical innovations, let us pin it down. If it's related to some kind of a dancing girl of bronze, how was she made? What is the technique that was used? Was lac used? Did Mahabharata mention about the lac Satakura Parva? Are they related? Let's examine this, okay? So this is how a multidisciplinary approach to the decipherment and a multilingual approach to the decipherment is very critical, because we should not miss out the resources available, the knowledge system of those times, and see what knowledge systems can be related to the writing system. Not taking only one at a time, one symbol here, one symbol there. Let's look at the total picture, the overall context of the civilization area and the activity of the civilization that created an extraordinary activity, major item related to metalwork of the 3rd millennium before Common Era. So the Bronze Age revolution was significantly contributed by the Meluha artisans, the Necha artisans of the civilization. So what was this Necha? What was the Meluha? You have to pin it down, okay? You call it Sanskritam, you call it Prakrit, you call it whatever you want. But this Meluha is mentioned in the old texts, in cuneiform texts of Sargon, for instance, 2300 BC, before Common Era. He says, Meluha merchants brought all this stuff to us. And Solomon says, these are animals that are shown on the black obelisk are tribute paid to Solomon said 3. What are these tributes of animals? Are animals resources? Let's figure out. Okay? Next, please. Again, a detailed picture of the contents of the storage jar. The artifact is a repertoire of the Meluha artisans. It's a stunner. Look at the beautiful part that is even made, even used even today by the ladies of Rajasthan and all over the country of Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada, carrying drinking water from the lakes, reservoirs or rivers to their homes. Water pot, a carrier. And the bowls, the daggers, the metal swords, and then the axes, the chisels. All these are words. We are not talking in English. What was the language in which they were represented? What did they call a spade? What did they call an axe? What did they call a mirror? What did they call a dagger? What was the sword called? In their language. Unless we pin it down, we have not successfully deciphered the civilizational content of the Indus script corpora. Okay? Next, please. There is a very beautiful statement made in Tamil literature. We'll come to that. It refers to invention of accounting system for trade. And what is this Kannada? Symbol 342, rim of a jar, Amarakosha and Amarakosot Ghatana. Amarakosot Ghatana of Shiraswamin. Call it Karna, ear of the handle of a vessel. Rigveda. Compared to Indian languages. Karnaka, protection on the side of a vessel, handle. Kandaka, Pali, having ears or corners. Kana, Bengali, brim of a cup. Kano, rim, border, Sindhi. Kanna, edge, rim, handle, Hindi. So the similar sounding reading is Karana, messenger, dispatch. This is what Shiraswamin says. So 342 is the most frequent grapheme of the Indus script corpora. The grapheme, rim of jar, signifies messenger, dispatch of cargo entrusted to for maritime trade. So this is what it is. In the context of the background of the literature, context of the understanding of the meaning of words recorded in text, and the Amarakosha, which is an incredible encyclopedia, we seem to get a reasonable idea of the possible meaning that was communicated and the word that was used to communicate that meaning at that point in time, say 3000 BC, before Common Era, or 2000 before Common Era, not our date. Okay? But it's very old. So it's the oldest epigraph of the country, and definitely one of the oldest epigraphs of the world. Older than Abydos tokens that are dated to 3200 BC, whereas this earliest inscription found in Harappa, dated archaeologically by the HARP team, Harappa Archaeological Project team, is dated to 3300 before Common Era. That's the earliest inscription we have on a potsherd. Okay? Next, please. Shiraswamin, explanation. Incredible explanation. Preshyam, sending on a mission. Semantics of Karana. Karana Karavati, Preshya, Karmaniti, Karanaha. Because he is sending on a mission, he is a messenger So unicorn is a messenger. The Karna sign 342 is a messenger. It's a dispatch. Some mission is taking place of carrying this cargo. Amarakosha, Shri Swami refers to Amarakosha and details in the Amarakosha Ghatana, which is the earliest available commentary on Amarakosha of Amarasinha, to more than 80 commentaries on Amarakosha available. The Chera Swami is only one of them. And a brilliant work has been done by Yamana Devi in 2012, which details the work done by Chera Swami. According to this Amarakosha Ghatana of Chera Swami, Karna is one who fulfills an assignment, perhaps a messenger, since Preshya Karma is specifically mentioned as Karoti Preshya Karma Maniti Karmaha. Preshya means to be ordered, sent, dispatched. Maybe the guildman was ordering this messenger to take it along. He is also a servant. He is also a messenger. He also in Preshya means a female servant. A maid, a handmaid. Preshyam means sending of on a mission. So the Preshya Karma seems to be signified by the word Karana, and it contains consistent with what Sangam literature says about Karanam as an accounting system invented for some specific purpose. Okay? Next, please. Now let us come to the text of the Tolkappiyam, which is the oldest Tamil text of the Sangam times. Why was this script writing system invented? We have seen sign 342 is rim of a jar, signifying Karanam, counting system, led to work of artificers, seafaring merchant civilization. Now let us read the Tolkappiyam text. Tolkappiyam Purul Adhikara. Purul means all related to flora, fauna and material culture. Uyum Vaduvum Tondriya Pinnar, Ayyar Atyatana Karanam Enba. Translation: when lies and inaccuracies began to appear in maritime trading, scholars composed, tightened an accounting system called Karanam. So this Karana sign 342 signifies an accounting system. So when it is mentioned in any epigraph or inscription of the Indus script, it signifies Karanam, an accounting, a dispatch, a messenger of the cargo. So this Tolkappiyam Puruladhikaram, whatever the date it is, very old text, that is consistent with Amarakosha Ghatana, the meaning of Karanam, and how an accounting system was evolved in the Indus script corpora as inscriptions for controlling trade activity, seafaring activity, artificer activity of creating new material, new swords, new equipment of a blacksmith, which is also signified by another sign. Of course, so on, the signs improve. So we can see that evolution of a writing system can be reasonably well documented in the context of the civilizational area of all disciplines: geology, hydrology, archaeology, literature, literary texts, lexicons, all of them are resources. We can use all, including now archaeometallurgy. We know a lot about metallurgy. If it is related to metallurgy, we can find out the meaning of those terms and read the inscription as picture writing, visual language of those times. Possibly the earliest visual language developed anywhere in the world. Okay. So the accounting system was invented because there were mistakes committed, mispronunciations, and then some also pilferage. Possibly Poyum Varu means lies and inaccuracies. When lies and inaccuracies appeared, they had to have a control system. So the Indus writing became a cipher, a control system for controlling the wealth that was being created through trade activity, through artisanal production activity in the smithy or the furnace or the forge. Okay, next please. Now let's get back to the distribution of sites again once more. So a total picture of the mature phase. Look at the picture. Do you have to find a river? Just follow the sites. You find the river. River Saraswati, which is a flowing river, a maritime navigable river, flowed along these sites, serviced all these sites, all the people living on the margins of these sites, all on the banks of the river Saraswati. You call it Gagar, you call it Hakara, you call it Nara, you call it Dishadoti, you call it Satlaj, you call it Bachanadi, whatever you want. But this Saraswati river system, a navigable river system, right up to the coastal towns of Gujarat, Dwarka, Ran of Kutch, Dholavira, so on, they were transmitting, dispatching through messengers the products of the artificial activity of the artisans on the Saraswati River basin from the 5th to the 3rd millennium before Common Era. Here is a beautiful map drawn indicating the flow of the river systems, including the flow of Yamuna eastwards, location of major important sites, including Rakhigarhi, Kalibangan, Bildana, and so on. And we will also see about this in the Balaram Tirtha Yatra. Okay? So the distribution of the Harappan sites in the mature phase from roughly 2550 to 1900 before Common Era. The red squares are big sites. The red circles are smaller sites, other sites. The dashed line is the Saraswati River or partially dry riverbed. This is Wikipedia. I go into source. Okay, so this is the context in which all the script investigation must take place. They have covered a significant amount of ground so far. Next, please. Okay. Now let us take a look at the resources. The total number of inscriptions so far are in the corpora or corpuses 9,414 in 5 photographic volumes. More inscriptions of Epigraphia Indica will be added in the 6th volume to come out either later this year or in 2025. Again by Parpola and supporting scholars. Language contacts with adjoining areas is evidenced by the kind of the manuscript inscriptions, not only in the Saraswati River basin, but all over along the Persian Gulf, and also some in Mesopotamia, also Anatolia, here Caucasus region, here the Caspian Sea. So here are the 5 volumes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, made by Parpola and Associates. They all contain very beautiful photographs. You know, the size of the inscriptions are very small, maybe 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters, square or rectangular, but they are very precise, very incredible documentation, and the images are so clear. When you take an enlarged picture, as shown on this color photograph of the cover of the volumes, even on a plate found in Kalibagan, you see very clearly that he is showing the rim of a jar and some bird, maybe the Poradu or Drango, where the tail of the bird is split. It's typical of black Drango. It's called Poradu. Pollard means magnetite ore. Pollard means steel. What are they working with? Iron, steel? Who knows? It depends on the value that's given at that time. Maybe it was metal. They called it a hard metal. What was the name that they used for that metal, for the steel? You have to find out. If those inscriptions help, maybe you have to figure out. So an attempt was made in 3 volumes called Epigraphia in the script. Epigraphia in the script in 3 volumes, detailing most of these inscriptions on 5 volumes and providing a reading of the graphemes the graphical pictures. The rim of a jar, the rimless spot, an arrow, arrowhead, or a sphere, or a plate, or a bowl with a ladle in it, or rim of a jar, rimless pot with a ladle, or a crocodile catching a fish, or the fish with strokes inlaid, or fish with fins. These are all images, graphics. They are graphically identifiable in the lexical repertoire of Desi Bhasha. They are recorded in multiple lexicons. Don't restrict it only to Sanskritam. There are language dictionaries, Nigantus, comparative dictionaries, Dravidian etymological dictionary, comparative dictionary of Indo-Aryan languages, enormous resources. In fact, Varro Yamano, who made the Dravidian etymological dictionary, had a rethinking after they accumulated about 5,000 Dravidian words, called them Hitima of Dravidian languages of Kui, Kurku, Toda, Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, called them Dravidian languages. And then they said, these are Dravidian words. But they also found a number of these words were also found in the comparative dictionary of Indo-Aryan languages. So they call them Dravidian borrowings for Indo-Aryan. Dravidian borrowings of Indo-Aryan. Okay, let them be Dravidian borrowings. But the borrowings are very important. Borrowing that took place between these two language streams, Dravidian languages, Indo-Aryan languages. What are Indo-Aryan languages? The Pali, the Prakrit, the Rigveda, Sanskritam, Kashmiri, Gujarati, Marwadi, Sindhi, Ardhamagadi, Bhojpuri, Santali, Bengali, Oriya. See, these languages also contain incredible amount of information related to these inscriptions. Let us keep an open mind as to what language was spoken. But if the language was spoken by the artisans, they created this civilization. Artisans and seafaring merchants created the wealth of the nation. That's very important to recognize. So the contact area and the extent to which the contact area was extended is absolutely stunning. So we cannot exclude the artifacts that have been found along the Persian Gulf and also in the tip of Africa, northeast, and in Mesopotamia and Anatolia. Same images, same graphemes that have been found here in Rakhigarhi or Mohenjo-daro or Harappa have been found. They have all got to be taken into account. They cannot be excluded. Similarly, within the description, you cannot exclude the importance of the animal. You look at this, a small size, most of the space is occupied with the animal and the standard device. Why? How important was it? Did it convey a message or not? What was the message? And what was the language in which the message was conveyed through this animal? What is the animal called in 3000 before Common Era, 3000 before Common Era, 2005 before Common Era, 1900 before Common Era? So what is this? What is this zebu? A grand zebu. Of course, it doesn't have any manger or feeding trough in front of it, unlike the tiger or elephant which are shown with a feeding trough. How come? Are they wild animals which can be fed by a feeding trough? But what was the meaning of the feeding trough? Why there is no feeding trough in front of the zebu, the Brahmani bull, the huge dewlap? But in the dewlap, there is a small little picture of a thorn that's drawn on the dewlap. Did the thorn convey meaning or not? It's a very important component of message conveyance. After all, in cipher is a message conveying system. What was the meaning conveyed, semantics of that particular thorn on the dewlap of the zebu? What is the significance of the shoulder carrying a shoulder bag, a double bag, a double sack, or pannier on the shoulder of the unicorn? Why was the spoked wheel circle shown on the throat? What is the logograph? What is the idea behind that cipher? We have to correct it. Now that we consistently apply it to all the inscriptions. That is, in other words, we cannot start with a preconceived assumption. See, that's why most of the decipherments that are made, only 150 claims are there. Why are they not accepted? Because the underlying assumption of these so-called decipherment claims made a blunder by ignoring these importance of these field symbols or pictorial motifs of a unicorn or a tiger or an elephant, or even narratives of a person sitting with a pot in front of him and some kind of a drilling activity and with the lady assisting him, or a tiger shown together with a rim of a jar with a lid on top of it. Those are a lot of pictorial narratives. For example, one tiger looks backwards, an antelope looks backwards, and sometimes it looks up at a person sitting on top of a tree like a spy. So what was the spy called? Was it Heraka? Spy? Heraka? Metal infusion? Why was he sitting on top of the branch of the tree? Why is the picture important? Why are the 7 periods of the Saptamatrika shown on some inscriptions? What is the meaning of those? They all got to be explained for any decipherment claim. Because the previous decipherment claims failed to understand the meaning conveyed through this cipher, through this coding system, through this accounting system, there was a slip up. Even Professor P.V. Subbarayappa, a great scientist who wrote about the history of science and civilization in ancient India, who was an advisor to the Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi at that time, said the entire script is a womb of numbers. They all document something related to numbers, how quantities are produced of different commodity types. That was his basic assumption. So when he wrote a letter to me when I was in Manila, where I had done some work on creating fonts for all the languages of the world, including Kanji, Katakana, Hiragana, all languages, including the Slavic languages, Slavic. He wrote to me saying, "Oh, we have done some work on languages. Can I have your views on my decipherment?" I told him, "How can I, sir? How can I respond, sir? I have not studied civilization. I have not studied the languages. So let me get back to you after I study." So I spent the last 40 years studying the dictionaries. In Manila also I had access to the University of St. Thomas, which is older than Harvard University, which has got excellent library with archaeological reports of India, language dictionaries of India. Then we have got Berkeley, University of Berkeley, University of Stanford, and British Library, which have got number of resources available of the language dictionaries. And the Chicago University has created a multilingual dictionary, made it available online for all South Asian languages. So we have got an incredible amount of resources available to us to match this activity. The trade activity that's regarded by the transfer of these pictures, transfer of these inscriptions. Why should this inscription appear in Sadad? Why should this inscription appear in Mehrgarh? Why should it appear in other sites of the Iran or Balochistan? What was the activity that was going on? Was there a two-way traffic? What were they getting? What were they sending? Some uniform text do provide some leads of what activity took place between a place called Meluha region and Anatolia or Assyrian speaking languages. Sumerian. This Meluha is often referred to as Mlecha in the Indian text. Mahabharata also refers to Mlecha as a language. So some linguists are agreed that Mlecha and Meluha are cognate words. Mlecha becomes Meluha or Meluha becomes Mlecha, whichever way. Either way, it refers to a linguistic area or a language union, Spark Bund, where Meluha speakers were transacting in trade or seafaring, maritime activity, some work related to their production activities. Whether it's related to metals or wood obtained from Himalayan mountains or woodwork, some inscriptions do point to woodwork. So we have to have a clear understanding of the purpose of the writing system, the form and structure of the writing system, the cipher underneath the writing system, and using these resources for 9,440 inscriptions. Not omitting any of them. Not omitting a picture and taking only the writing as well. That is the writing system. No. The writing script was on top of the image. So the image conveys something and the top also conveys something. So the writing system is also picture based. So most of the symbols used in the text script are also symbols, logographs, graphemes, which can be equated to the words of that civilization area, both in terms of the original words of the picture and the corresponding homonym or similar sounding word related to wealth creation activity or accounting ledger.
So, sir,
Wealth accounting ledgers. Okay, that's what it seems to be. Yeah, yes, please.
yeah. So, sir, so since we have it both in the northwestern area of India and also in the southern part of India, and also the words mostly related to Dravidian languages, or like as you suggest, or probably some part of Sanskrit also, maybe. So, do you suggest a common ancestor for both Sanskrit and Dravidian, or like?
Exactly, absolutely. You're so beautifully put it. In fact, the entire corpus of the words related to these graphemes of the script seem to relate to a fact that most of the words that are found today in all languages of our country, all Mundarika, Indo-Aryan, Dravidian, every one of them,
Right.
are drawn from this source. How
Okay.
come? The Kannada word appears in all languages of the country.
Okay.
So that is, the language source has got to be pinned down. It's not only from Sanskrit. Sanskritam recorded a lot of their words. Similarly, the Gujarati also recorded a lot of words.
Right.
Asian Ramamal recorded a lot of words, called them Prakritam. So the Prakritam, Pali, Vedic, Sanskritam, all of them are sources together with Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, because they all retain memories of the past. Memories that are recorded in the lexicons of Kannada, for Kittle's Kannada English Dictionary, all the Toda Dictionary, which is available in the Dravidian Geological Dictionary, and the language dictionaries of Gujarati, Sindhi, Marwadi, and so on. So all these resources have got to be put together to match the graphemes.
Right. So, sir,
If you can match the grapheme with those words, yeah. Yes, please.
yeah. Sorry, there was an audio glitch.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, if that is the case, I mean, usually the language of the people, like the people, doesn't forget their language when they move to a different place. So, but we have so many distinct languages. Are they truly distinct? Like, because Kannada and Telugu are not actually distinct; they're actually more or less same. Same with Tamil and Malayalam, as far as I
That's
know.
right.
So,
You're absolutely right. See, linguists analyze them as language families. Okay. So
right.
the three language families, four of them recognized are Indo-Aryan, Dravidian, Tibeto-Burman, Mundarika.
Right.
Okay. So Austroasiatic. Some which are also found in the East, in Vietnam, Malaysia, and all that. So Austroasiatic, Dravidian, Indo-Aryan, and Tibeto-Burman. So these are the four major language families from which a lot of words are taken. Then, as I told you, Yamano made a great speech in Anna University about his dictionary. He said, I constructed this Dravidian dictionary, but I now concede that we cannot determine this source of borrowing from between one of these, or two or three of these language families. It appears as though the area was a linguistic area, which means an area where people speaking different language families got together and absorbed those words into their languages and created their own dictionary and meanings. So the language dictionaries of today, as very correctly said, are a retention of the memory of the past. They cannot be ignored. The words can be traced back to the words of the civilization as recorded in the graphemes of the script, graphemes of the writing system. So let us not get conflated ideas of distinguishing between a script and a pictorial motive. The script is there, it's called a text script. Together with it, there is an image, very detailed image of a standard device with two parts and also a unicorn. Most of the scripts contain unicorn with a horn projecting forward, thrusting forward, and spiny horn. They are all very specifically named. Then the pannier on the shoulder, and it's clearly a young bull, as shown by the genitals of the bull in all the inscriptions. So it's a young bull. What was the young bull called? It appears it is called Konda. Konda means a young bull, and the sounding word is Konda, which means a circular hamlet village, Konda. So, see, the picture seems to indicate that the source of the material recorded in the text script came from that village. And the standard in front of it seems to indicate it's a maritime trade activity, Kantala. Turning container of Kunda. Kundana means gold, fine gold. Kundana means gem setting or ornament gold. Which ornament gold signified by Singi. Singi means forward thrusting spiny horn. Singin means ornament gold. So they were gold workers, ornament gold workers. They were making jewelry. They were also working with metals. They were working with firewood, charcoal, and transmitting. So very clearly, the present-day language dictionaries are a very important resource which cannot be wished away. So the Meluha language, which is dismissed in some of the literary texts like Patanjali and all that, cannot be dismissed as a mispronunciation alone. As the Mahabharata says, the conversation of Jatagruha Parva, where the Pandavas are supposed to be killed in a conflagration of the Rakh house, Jatagruha, the conversation takes place in Lecha language, Meluha language. Why did they use the Meluha language? Not for secrecy purpose, not for cipher, but because Meluha language communicated the technical terms related to lac, related to metals, related to other inflammable materials that are available, of which the Jatagruha was made. So that is why the Vizura and Kanaka, the miner, the man working in a mine, metal, copper or iron mine, he is telling Yudhishthira, I will help you. I will take you away from the tunnel, from the Jatagruha and save you. Let it go up in flames. Duryodhana has made a very strategic plan to destroy you in Jatagruha. What is Jatagruha? Made of lac. How is lac important? We'll see. Lac is very important to make the dancing girls, 2 dancing girls. Because it is made by a last wax technique, lac. That wax is used to create an image, and hot metal is poured through a hole on top, and the wax melts away, leaving behind the metallic version of the sculpture. That's how the dancing girl was made. So the ceremony technique is even today used by Dokra Kamar in Orissa and Chhattisgarh. So the system did not die off. The knowledge system continues even today. Similarly, the words used by these people who created these artifacts of the dancing girl and others continues today in all languages of the country. So we have to track down the match of the grapheme. Grapheme means a graphical representation of a word. That grapheme must be matched and a corresponding similar sounding word, homonym, because it's called a rebus principle. Similar sounding words called homonyms. This was the system used for Egyptian hieroglyphs. So the homonym rebus system is very important because they are using a word to symbolize not the tiger or elephant, but to symbolize a similar sounding word which said Kul means tiger, Kula means headman of a guild. Tiger means Iba, Ib means iron, Ibbo means merchant. So like this, they were using similar sounding words to convey the message. So this rebus principle is the important component of the cipher. And the cipher also is based on the Meluha language, which is the origin of most of the languages of today. So today's languages can be traced back into the unity provided by the Meluha nature words. Technical words made by artisans. This is called Desi Bhasha. This the guild speech. It's recorded by Ramachandra in his Desi Mahabharata. Okay?
Yes, sir. I mean, I am actually not an expert at all, but when there is no evidence of any political domination or like political expanse or the king monarchical, or there is
Yeah, of
no
course,
evidence of war.
what is political?
Yeah, I mean to say like any wartime activity.
No,
It
I'll
is
tell you what. See, a lot of these materials were used in Mesopotamia for war. So a number of wars have been recorded around this third millennium BC, second millennium in Mesopotamia, Anatolia, and so on,
Right.
Syria, and so on.
So coming to us, since like there is not much
But
of
there is no
wartime, it is
record of any wars except in the Dasaragna War of Veda and the Mahabharata War. Mahabharata War did take place along the banks of the river Saraswati.
right,
So the materials might have been used.
right.
We do not know. But there are some words like ayas mentioned in the Rig Veda, mentioned in the Mahabharata. So that means a political activity can also be inferred based on this decipherment or reading of these words, graphemes. And another important component of the political activity is how they form themselves into a guild. How is the Sreni formed? How did artisans get together?
Yes, sir. I'm of the same opinion. Like since there is
In one
no
settlement like
evidence
Harappa
of
or Mohenjo-daro, very enclosed settlement.
yeah,
Evidence of
yeah, there is no evidence of. I mean, not big evidence of any wars and all. It is
there is
very
evidence.
reasonable.
For example, most of the sites are fortified settlements. Why did they fortify the settlements? They wanted to safeguard whatever they were making.
Right.
They have some value. So they wanted to prevent them. They wanted to exclude themselves into an enclosed area.
Okay.
That's why the fortified settlements existed. And the fort itself has a word, Gada. Why? What does this Gada means? Gad means.
God means fort. Yeah.
So these traditions continued. So the words continued. They made these forts. Maybe there were wars. We don't know. Maybe they were peaceful people. We don't know. But they didn't make, as I showed you in that Louvre storage part. There were some hammers. There were some swords, and there were some axes. Were the axe used as a killing device, or was it used only to break wood? We don't know. Possibly, most of it was used for breaking wood to make furniture, carpentry work. So carpentry work was as important as the iron ore work. See, they are all wealthy items. So the social political system can be inferred from the type of activity engaged by the artisans, reflected on these inscriptions. They were not merely prayers. They were also activities which are documented as an accounting system, as we have seen. So this documentation will be of great help in reconstructing the economic history, the political economic history of the country from third millennium, from 2500 BC to 1000 BC or 1 BC. It's possible because the script did not die. The script continued to be used on punchmark coins. Why punchmark coins? They were mints, working with metals. They were getting wealth through money. So barter system was changed into money exchange system with a value attached to the coin. There were the mints. So why did the mints use on their coins symbols of the Indus script? Thousands of them. Thousands of these scripts have been found. Inscriptions have been found on thousands of coins.
Okay.
Which are all in the British Museum and in our Numismatic Society documentation. Incredible. So that means the system did not die. System continued in hundreds of mints, right from Taksha to Karur. Right from there, from Greek, there are also in Kharoshti, Brahmi, together with the Indus script. Kharoshti and Brahmi were used together with the Indus script signs.
Right.
Images of elephant, tiger, and so on, or a spoke wheel, or a sun's rays. They were all Indus script symbols. So Indus script pictorials, logographs, continued to be used for thousands of years after 1900 BC. So the punchmark coins are found on 5th century AD in Magadha relate to the Indus script. The shower or copper plate relate to Indus script. Or the anthropomorph found with a fish on the chest of the anthropomorph. Or with a varaha shown on top of the head. Or with the arms of a ram and with legs spread out. They're all meaningful messages. So anthropomorph itself is a professional calling card of these artisans. So that is, we do not have to restrict ourselves to these Indus script resources. We can also extend it to the continuum that is seen in the sculptures of Khajuraho or Varaha, or in the Pajmar coins with symbols of script, like a crocodile catching a fish and so on. Crocodile catching a fish is also seen in the Konark temple in Orissa. It's amazing. So these images are so incredibly important that message conveyance was taking place through this grapheme system, graphemic system, logographic system. Okay, so that is important to understand the nature of the writing system, the function and the form of the system. It's not restricted to only seals. A lot of sculptures have been found. The dancing girl, it's also a picture conveying a message. She's holding a small little bowl like a deepam in her hand, and with of course wearing wristlets and bracelets. And there's a dance step. We call it dancing girl. What is the dance step? Karna. Karna is the dancing step, dance pose. So let me show the messenger conveying this deepam. Deepam also got a particular word for the furnace. So bhati is a bhata is a furnace. So is bhati. So she's handing over this bhati. Beautiful.
Okay.
So the imagery has got incredible amount of meaning which cannot be ignored in any disbursement.
I agree, sir. I mean, considering the ancientness of the script, I mean, we cannot just ignore images. I mean, just like that. So,
Go ahead.
and moreover, like, I mean, I'm like the most catching point of your thesis, sir. Like, I mean, I would say, I mean, the expansion of the culture and all mainly, I mean, majorly happens, especially in peaceful times, by the merchants. So, and being on the borders
Not
of
only merchants, artisans, the artificers,
artisans.
the carpenters, the blacksmiths, the metalsmiths.
Yes.
They are very important people. The artists who create the sculptures, who made the temples, they're all part of the entire guild. The Shri contained all these competent people with their art talents. So the talents of the artificers have got to be recognized, and they are not restricted only to a particular group. So they are all form of a society of citizens. For example, in Marathi, there is what is called the Balutedar system, where the artisans are entitled to the produce of the country, of the village. Mandatory, because they were important components of the society. The social system recognized their contributions. You can be a carpenter, you can be a mochi, or you can be a blacksmith, you can be a coiner. All those are contributing to the civilization of the country, of that particular village. So Balutedars are used for getting their share of the produce.
Definitely, sir. Because like until the industrial age, I mean, artisans must be holding a very high position in the society.
Absolutely, they were recognized as phenomenal. They were very important people. They became divinities.
Right? They must be. They must be.
As I
And
told
we
you in
also
the
have a.
first shloka of Agamali, she venerates the Tassa, venerates the carpenters, venerates all the artisans of the Rudras, the Marus. They're all artificers who have contributed to the civilization.
Right.
So
Even now also we, I mean, venerate the Vishwakarma as a god.
Absolutely, you have put it, you have nailed it. Vishwakarmas are total descendants of the civilization. The Vishwakarma who made the Nataraja in Swami Malai, he is called Yaraka Subramanya. What is Yaraka? Metal infusion. Copper was used, and the Sirapadu was made using the fine sand, river sand of Kaveri River, and you make the wax mold and paste it with the sand, allow it to dry, and then put the molten metal for the metal for the wax to melt away, leaving behind the Nataraja. That's how the Nataraja statue is made. Even today, that was supplied to CERN in Switzerland. That Nataraja is a component contribution made by the Vishwakarma tradition. They are incredible competent metal workers. They are incredible sculptors. They are extraordinary artists. They were writers of graphics. So a Nataraja conveys a lot of meaning. Stepping on a particular young person, a boy or a child. Why was he doing that? So all that is meaningful. There have been recorded in a number of texts and epigraphs. So these resources are very important for us to understand the background of the civilization and the way it evolved and resulted in the largest corpus of inscriptions anywhere in the world, dated to this 3rd millennium BCE, 2nd millennium BCE. 9,440 inscriptions in 5 volumes. I am telling you another 1,000 will be added to it in the next volume. Sites like Kalibangal, Karnal, Kunal, a number of sites in Gujarat, Kanmer, Kirsara, Kshetrasagara. Kirsara is Kshetrasagara. The churning of the ocean. But what was the churning of the ocean? What is the image metaphor? The Devas and Asuras were working together, jointly churning the ocean, churning the Mandara mountain. They are creating wealth. It's a common activity, commonwealth activity. That is the beauty of the Kshetrasagara inscriptions, Kirsara inscriptions from Gujarat. You'll see about that. So it's amazing that these traditional values of the social and political structure and the importance associated with Vishwakarma are fundamental in appreciating the contribution they have made to the wealth of the nation from the 4th millennium before Common Era to the beginning of the Common Era, found Common Era, and even beyond, because of 5th century CE and all that, they have found metal coins, benchmark coins, cast coins. They have been found even in Sri Lanka. Again, the same images: elephant, tiger, script, inscription, Kannada, and so on, sun's rays, or spoked wheel. All derivative inscriptions, which are of incredible value, and messaging systems, writing systems. So the mints coins are writing systems. And the continuum of in the script. It has been very beautifully demonstrated in a number of scholarly articles by Jaiswal and C.M. Fabry. I have recorded that in my documentation. Okay. So that is the importance of the corpora. So the importance of the corpora cannot be wished away without appreciating the continuum of the civilization. Again and again, we should not say the Indus Valley civilization died. No, Bharatiya civilization flourished. It continued into the Common Era and into the historical period. We are only trying to reconstruct the proto-history using these inscriptions. But the continuum of the culture, the social structure, the political structure, and the relative responsibilities entrusted to the people, the farmers, the artisans, the sculptors, who made beautiful contributions like the Ellora temple, or the temples of Tamil Nadu, or the temple of Sri Lanka. Stunning and incredible amount of architectural competence. Even the Harappa site itself has shown how the architecture of the Harappa site with a number of circles, working platforms. What are they? What were they called? What were they doing? Were they producing corns? Or were they producing some metal? Or were they smithies? We don't know. Or were they working with indigo for purpose of coloring the fiber of silk and cotton? Of course, cotton has been dated to 6th millennium from India. Silk has been dated to 3rd millennium from India, based on the evidence from the Harappa. So that means we have got a really an opportunity to rewrite our economic history right from 4th millennium BC up to the Common Era. So we can reconstruct a continuum of the civilization and the contributions made by artisans and seafaring merchants, commerce and trade, production, using resources, mines, copper, iron, magnetite ore, ferrite ore, laterite ore, all these also used, and the resources of the Himalayan trees, the timber, incredible value was created because there is a record in the cuneiform text of import of timber from India, and import, of course, the monkeys and peacocks. But they were not monkeys and peacocks. They only represented words, symbolized the Reba similar sounding words. For example, Kutaru means a monkey. Kutaru also means an armorer, man who was making weapons. Similarly, the peacock, Baraka. Baraka is a particular form of calcinated metal. Baraka. In fact, these peacocks are found in the Vatican in a very beautiful sculptural phrase. Possibly dated to about 6th century BC, before Common Era. So that means there is a lot of activity and trade and interactions that are taking place. It's not restricted to the Sarasvati Valley or the Ganga Valley. It was spreading all over the country and all over the western part of the Indus River. There is present-day Balochistan and Iran, and right into the Mesopotamia, Susa, Sumeria region through the Persian Gulf. Number of inscriptions have been found in the Persian Gulf containing the same interscript symbols. How can be interpreted? So it means the ball game has now undergone a total change, with the total inscriptions having reached 9,400 and will reach another 10,000. Total become 10,000. It's a phenomenal resource. All of which can be used effectively to rewrite the economic history of our country. Of this India that was recognized as the world's richest country by one common era. And even up to 1700 before common era, India was making a 27% contribution to the world was from India. So there's excellent documentation available on the work done by the Vishwakarmas, work done by the carpenters, work done by the farmers, and work done by the hydrologists. How they manage the river system, how they use them to create channels, some check dams for purpose of using it for communicating, conveying the water. For example, I got examples from Mohenjo-daro and Harappa of how the streams were made, how the pipe the terracotta was made for conveying water, how the gate path was used. We don't know. We can only make an inference based on archaeological evidence. So that means the totality of the Indus corpora is the totality of the wealth contribution that is made over millennia by the Indus artisans and seafaring merchants. That has got to be studied in that context. You can give whatever information you want, whatever decipherment you want, but you have to understand why the failures occurred. Failures occurred because they made wrong assumptions. They assume the big pictures of the pictorial motifs are irrelevant, or they just appended some tribal symbols. How can there be tribal symbols when they are drawing narratives of a tiger looking up and a man sitting on top of a tree or a leafless tree? They are not just mere symbols. There is narration. There's some kind of a conveyance of message that's taking place. They ignored it. That's why they are failures. Similarly, some assumptions are made, they were alphabets. How can it be? At that time, the alphabetical system did not exist. The Damaro existed. The Damaro was producing sounds, sound values. So, words like Om, words like Sha. So, the compound consonants, they were all important components of the speech area. You cannot ignore them. So, for example, in every mantra, starts with Om. For example, Gananam Tva Sarap. See, Ganapati. The Ganapati mantra is used to start Yajna. Also shows that Ganapati is a very important person. That Prajapati, what was he? Why is he shown in the goddess Vinayaka wearing a garment with the picture of a tiger cub on the garment and with a clear indication of the pass of the tiger, feline pass? What are they conveying as a message in that particular image of goddess Vinayaka? We have to explain that. So that's how I think we can proceed in continuing sessions.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And we can stop at this point, give a background of context in which the entire rating system was used, and the context in which the rating system continued, it did not die, and how the social political system continued to exist in many parts of India, together with their languages. It also had roots in the spoken speech of the Beluga, Lecha, merchant and seafaring artisans, who recorded them, because that's the only record we have available. We do not record of the farmers. We have recorded created by these Kannadas, these accountants. From there we can start and make a reasonable assumption about the contribution made in cotton growing, or wheat growing, or rice growing, or cotton work, or even textiles. All those are inferences. But the textual material is here. So the corpora is a very important component of a resource for rewriting the ancient history of our country. There's no doubt about that. Okay? We can stop this and continue in the next sessions. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you very much for today's session, sir. And people who are watching, if you have any questions, please do post. We can take up in later sessions. Yeah. So anything, Haindavudu, you want to?
That's all. I deeply appreciate Haindavudu and the group
Thank you very much, sir.
for initiating this.
Yeah, actually, there are some questions I received from my viewers. Would you like to ask them now or later?
We will post it on email.
Post them in the media, we'll cover it one by one. Because we have got a lot of subsequent sessions. We'll be covering a number of inscriptions and the context and the reading, and we'll take it from there also. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll take it in absolute detail, answer every question that has been asked.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay, sir. Shall we conclude the session? I mean, close the session.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
I deeply appreciate your initiative. So let's continue because we are making, as I see it, an important hypothesis and for people to consider and take it forward. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sure, sir. We will do more sessions regarding the same. Thank you, viewers, for watching, and please share with your friends and also subscribe to the channel. See you in the next live. Until then, bye bye.
Thank you.